Hi there, welcome to episode 68. Is it 68? I can't quite remember. This is a hot day. This is Paranormal Blip, by the way. Hello. And right, what film? What film is it? I have left a little bit of change, kind of money, coinage on the side there. It is a Kubrick film. Okay. I'll give you that much. Tell you on later on. Tell you later on. It's on the John Le Carre book. John Le Carre. Now, just a quick one, okay? Because it's such a hot day today. Yes. And there's a couple of things that I'm yet to address on Paranormal Blip. So I thought I'd do it now. And it's been quite an interesting couple of weeks here. Now I'm going to share my screen here, he said confidently. Oh, here we go. Oh, it worked. Now I'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, so this is the AARO website and a couple of interesting things to look up here. First of all, here we go. Look, this is one of their, the way I got to this is, maybe I can go back and show you actually. Yeah, look, I typed in retrieval in their search bar. You see that search bar? And that's what it looks like. I mean, it's, perfunctory, should we say. Quite interesting. It's good that it's up there at last. That's really good. And anyway, you type in retrieval and look, you get two of these. This is about the shoot downs in February, I think, the other one. You go to the first PDF, you come up with this. Yeah. Now, so this is the presentation that Kirkpatrick gave in April, I think it is. Yep. I'm not too sure if it's changed that much since then. Maybe it has. I don't know. But anyway, there's a couple of interesting things to look at here. Yeah. So we go down and we see all this information. I mean, I put a link in the, episode description, as you can imagine. Oh, it went to the bottom there. That's clever, isn't it, of me? So here we go. Look, we've got UAP exploitation here. So this is all obviously about what AARO does, the All Domain Resolution Office. Is that what the R stands for? I think so. UAP exploitation. Directs, so this is what I'm reading here, this bit. Directs exploitation of recovered enigmatic technologies, leveraging cross-sector partnerships and the latest developments in theoretical and applied physics, engineering. Lead structured recording, synthesis, and sharing of signature and material analysis for data consistency across operational, analytic, and research partnerships. So directs exploitation of recovered enigmatic technologies. We also have something up here, UAP object recovery, leads UAP recovery planning and execution in close collaboration with AARO S&T Group. That's the S&T stands for Science and Technology, I believe. Advises commands on the secure and safe handling, storage, transport, and transfer of UAP objects and material for AARO S&T exploitation. So, and Ross Coulthart was on an interview with a local radio station coming out of Melbourne. I think it's called 3AW. A lot of Melbourne stations are 3 something. I don't know why, but it's 3 AM, 3AW, 3 something. And I think it's 3AW. And it's quite an interesting conversation he had where, in a very Coulthardian way, he, very precisely, if Coulthard's way of presenting himself was a jam, it would be a very rich jam, I would be not jam-like at all, kind of like no taste, I'd be like cling film jam. But he's very rich. He kind of packs in a lot in the seconds given to him, on a quick kind of, radio interview. And within that, he emphasized this bit here about the exploitation. Look, I've lost it again. I'm good at using this, aren't I? Yeah. Oh no, that's the other one. Anyway, you just saw it, didn't you? I've read it to you, for crying out loud. So he emphasized, oh, here it is. Yeah, the exploitation of recovered enigmatic technologies. So that's really interesting. So, take a look at that. And it also, it looks like people have put these little photos together and thought, oh, maybe that's something. But apparently that's just a stock image. So I don't think, it's a funny thing because, of course, we know with Kirkpatrick that, multiple people have told him where he's going. What is happening in the world in terms of craft, bodies, etc., etc. He knows all of that. The Senate knows all of that. The Gang of Eight knows all of that. When I say the Senate, I mean certain particular senators who are kind of read in. And yet, at the same time, it obviously isn't. We're not there yet in terms of Kirkpatrick or whoever else, giving us a bit more, But this is something as well. It is something. So it's good that it exists. And it's also very interesting that they've gone through that discussion about, do we include this material in there? Recovered enigmatic technologies. I mean, what is that? What does that mean? I'm not sure that we can keep saying, they can keep saying, oh yeah, that means that we just don't know whether it's China or Russia, Anyway, so that's the first thing that I wanted to mention. And now the second thing is, if I just go to my bar here, I've got this ridiculous, here we go. Right, so this is an excellent interview put up a couple of days ago by James Iandoli, who I was lucky enough to interview a couple of months ago. And this man here needs no introduction, but I will say his name, Richard Dolan. And right, so they talk about various things. It's an absolutely fantastic interview. I'll put an episode link in the episode description. I'll put the link in the description. So definitely watch it. It's absolutely brilliant all the way through. And the last half an hour or so is probably the best because they talk about this document that an interview that Dolan conducted with Kit Green. Okay. Now they talk about this email exchange when Kit Green was in NIDS with the Bigelow Group and all those guys, NIDS. I'm sure you know who NIDS is if you're watching this, but if you don't know what NIDS is, it's the National Institute for Discovery Science. And they were kind of around in the kind of early 2000s. And, basically it's Eric Davis, Hal Puthoff, Kit Green was involved. John Alexander is mentioned in this email exchange. And Com Kellner, obviously Mr. Bigelow himself, and various other people as well, yeah? So there was this email exchange where they talks about this alien autopsy video. And within that, Kit Green says that he had briefings at the Pentagon, yeah? Which is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And this interview here we go. Look, you click on that one, and then it comes up. You see, look, here we go, Richard Dolan members. So I'll put a link into James's interview with Richard, and then you just link across, yeah? So here we go. Now, this talks about various things, but here we go. This is really absolutely extraordinary. And there's one bit that I want to briefly quote. So here we go. So they talk about the alien autopsy video that essentially Kit Green said, oh yeah, well, at the time I thought it was real, but now I realize that it wasn't real. And he basically says, like, there's reasons for me to believe that it's a hoax. you read the interview for the kind of main, for the detail, but that's essentially what he kind of says. But then this is this really interesting bit where I wonder if you can bookmark. I need to learn how to bookmark this stuff. Right, here we go. Look, I think it's here. So, he told me that he's seen quite a few videos of purported. So this is an interview, just to be clear, between Richard Dolan is interviewing Kit Green, okay, and check it out. A few videos of purported alien autopsies, roughly a dozen. Other than the one he was shown at the Pentagon, all these others were brought to his home in Detroit, left in his mailbox or on his doorstep. These were various packages containing either VHS tapes or, as time went by, CDs or DVDs. Green said that any video not accompanied by documentation was of no use to him, but some of the videos did have documentation. All this appears to have taken place during the 1980s and 1990s, although the specifics are not clear. This is an extraordinary thing. One of the packages even arrived with a purported alien tissue sample. And then they talk about the tissue sample, and essentially Kit gives it to somebody that, it's like one of the world's leading doctors in this area of samples, like biological samples. And the doctor says, actually, it's a hoax. And then we come up with this, which is quite interesting here. Given what I've just told you, I've never been able to let go of that document. So there was something about the document that was with this package, which had a sample in it and video as well, or DVD or whatever. Something about the document that Kit was really interested in. So going back, I'm reading from here. Given what I just told you, I've never been able to let go of that document. Some of the words in the document referring to some of the techniques to do the reverse transcriptase subtests were not invented yet. And I've got that document. They were invented 15 years later, just in the last 5 years. But the words, although they're buried within what the individuals I told you said were clever hoaxes using Google to buttress fancy sentence structures, so much so that the chairman of the department and colleagues couldn't make any sense of it scientifically, once in a while, the words were early. And my only conclusion, it's my hypothesis, this is not a proof, my hypothesis is the hoax was developed at the top by the people who subsequently, in the classified biological programs, went on to patent the technologies 6, 7, 8, 10 years later. Now, my work has shown this theme consistently. And then Richard asks, so before I say what Richard says, so just to get it clear, hold on, maybe Richard would do it better than me. I'm sure he would. I can't understand the logic of hoaxing you to make you believe that this was an alien material while they are also embedding future technology, future patents in this document and showing this to you. I don't understand whether there would be any logic to that. Makes no sense. Right, and then it goes on to say, Green's conclusion, albeit tentative, is that this was a, quote, high-level non-government hoax utilizing means to drive financial connectives on programs that are related, end quote. That's the most definitive statement he made on this matter. Okay, so then Richard, who's got doubts as to like whether, because what happened essentially was that at least in one of these, some Green says are kind of informal briefings, but in one of them was in a skiff, and he was shown images of various parts of this body that years later, this kind of alien autopsy, some of the foot and some of the, I think, other parts of the body, but like close-ups, I think, or kind of certainly sections of photographs, and then other bits of the room as well. And then years later, this video came out, like years later, and Green said it's the same. In the email to the NIDS guys, he uses the word same. So, images are the same, it says it. So it's absolutely fascinating. But that idea, I mean, there's lots of, obviously it's quite difficult to, because, Mr. Green, or Dr. Green, I should call him, is going to say what he says. Do you know what I mean? And so Mr. Dolan has to kind of work around what the information that he's given, obviously. But it's absolutely intriguing that. So that's worth reading as well. Okay, so I'll put a link in there as well. And if I stop sharing, then you should come back to me. Oh, that was successful. Hopefully that was successful. Yeah, very good. So another couple of things as well. Johnathan Weygandt did an interview with Martin Willis from Podcast UFO just yesterday, actually. It's really interesting. A piece of history, really. It's definitely worth checking out. And my shirt is unironed as well. That's another thing to say. And it's very, very interesting. You can see that Mr. Weygandt has gone through a lot. This is a case that I spoke about the other day in a previous episode, just recently. I think it might have even been the last episode, maybe. The Peru case, okay? So I'll put a link into that as well. And George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell were on Joe Rogan. It was a real treat, absolutely brilliant. Rogan is an interesting fellow. Often I'm the vast majority of people that listen to his podcasts, it's probably like me, in that there are sometimes where I really disagree with him, and then sometimes where I really do agree with him, but generally speaking, obviously, it's a good idea to interview people and listen to people that you don't agree with. Obviously, you can't kind of live your life in a bubble, can you? No, boy in the bubble. Yeah. What's the film? I'll give you a couple more minutes to think. It's a Kubrick film. Change. The clue is the change. The change is on the side. Yeah. It's on the table at the side. But in the film, it's not a green sofa, but it's a bed. Yeah. So that's a massive clue. I mean, really, that's kind of just narrows it down hugely, actually, if you think about it. I mean, I think it, oh no, it could be a few. Could be a few films, Kubrick's. Anyway, it's interesting where we're at the moment with all of this, because, people are saying that there are whistleblowers that have spoken to the ICIG, the intelligence community inspector general, and they are quite eager to kind of, spill the beans. A lot of people are saying that at the moment. And at the moment also, we have Jeremy Corbell saying, that David Grush is muzzled at the moment, but he will be unmuzzled. So we'll see. It's funny. Lots and lots of really fascinating information material is being discussed on these, kind of podcasts, which is really good stuff. And at the same time, though, in terms of actual developments, apart from the AARO, website, we're in a bit of a kind of, it's kind of post-summer, but things are just ramping up. And, the Senate and the Congress have just come back. Parliament's just come back in Britain. It'd be really interesting to see if there's a helicopter there. It's Men in Black. It's so hot. I need to put the door open, man. That's how hot it is. Imagine that. Yeah, having your door open. Can you hear that helicopter? I have no idea. We don't live near military bases or whatever. There's always helicopters in there. Anyway, yeah. So it'd be interesting to see when we start to get information from Britain as well. Okay. Just a short one, but hopefully I'll see you not too far into the future. And see you later. I'm back. It's so hot. I totally forgot to tell you that. Okay, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? There's the change. What's the film? It is Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, Nicole Kidman, who was married to Tom Cruise at the time, said that she put her own actual change on the side of the bed that was the set of their bedroom, to give it, that sense of authenticity. Some actors are like that, aren't they? Yeah. Anyway, now you can rest easy. See you later. Oh.